I've been working 18 hours a day for the past 2 years. I can't say I feel drained, but motivation lacks. I think I can try to just do it, but every time I try, it doesn't last long. I've been working for the past 2 years as a team lead who also does coding. I did basically everything on my project from start to end. Now I'm on my new project and I expect myself to work at the same pace. Is your team useless? Can't say so. They're just not that into the project because they work less and they're less in the sphere. Talk to me about the whole organization. Is this a startup? Not a startup, enterprise with deadlines. What country? Different countries have different work cultures. I have learned to ask this question. Somewhere in Europe. Have you tried pushing back? Right? Tell them, like, hey, listen, I've been working 18 hours a day. Cut me some slack. Like, push the deadline back a bit. What happens when you do that? But it all ended up the same due to the lack of documentation. I don't see the connection between lack of documentation and the work hours. So we pushed back, everyone agreed, and then due to lack of documentation, something just pops out that we made a wrong integration or another integration doesn't work right with us. Okay, so you get more time for the project. How does that lead to something popping out? Okay, so I see. So like whatever length of time of project, they'll find a way to fill it with work is what you're saying. Something's always fucking broken. No matter how long you have for the project, you're always going to have just a load of shit to do. Okay, every time something's not right, and if you have a shorter deadline, you just ship it out the door. But if you have a longer deadline, you have time to fix it, so fix it, right? Trash company, yeah, obviously, but we'll get to that later. Very obviously trash company. Best way to solve this shit, honestly, from your perspective, action plan. How's the job market there? Can you find another job at a better company? Like, I mean, like honestly, right? Let's look for other jobs. Because other jobs should be able to treat you better. I think I can. Okay. That's the most expedient solution to your problem. You have a trash employer. I mean, by the way, I don't know. It's like obvious to everybody else in the chat. Yeah, and myself, and like your employer is really bad if they're making you work 18 hours a day, and even if you adjust the deadlines, they'll find a way to make you work for that amount of time. That's insane. Action plan, find a new job. I would like to mention no one forced me to work, but I was desperate to close the project. See, but that's the thing. You were desperate to close the project, but something always comes up anyway, right? Can vouch no respectable employer would condone that. Agreed, right? But you can't go at 18 hours a day. And so the action plan, the first thing I do is find a new job because it sounds like a toxic culture. But if you don't, if you want to stay at this job, reduce your personal workload to a manageable amount because it doesn't matter for finishing the project anyway. You can always just push back on deadlines, or you could say, I'm doing the best that I can. But 18 hours a day is going to burn you the fuck out. And then you're going to hate life, and everybody around you is going to hate you. And it's going to be long-term very detrimental. How long has this been going on? 2 years. However, it's not like it was an empty experience. You learned how to bust your ass for a really long period of time. I certainly couldn't. I certainly do not have that level of work ethic. Yeah, you wanted to work really hard so you could get the projects done, but it turns out there's so much else wrong with the projects that they're just going to keep pushing work onto you anyway. I don't know. So yeah, I do one of these two things. Does this work for you? Or are you looking for a different solution? I mean, it seems very straightforward. It seems like something you would have thought of already. You guess it works. What are you unhappy about? Okay, I can tell you're not completely sold. What are you really unhappy about? I'm guessing it's Eastern Europe. He's not specifying, but that's my guess. Feeling guilty of not doing enough. Okay, there you go. That's a real problem. That's your real problem. But you are doing enough. Where does this come from? In your past, right? Because, like, any normal person, if they're working 18 hours a day for 2 years, are like, I'm doing enough. You, however, are like, it's not enough. What happened? I don't know why. Okay. Did you have really demanding parents? Any normal European doesn't work without 5 coffee breaks a day and 1 year of paternal leave. Can't say so? Okay. Were you always at the top of your class in school? All the school you were just kind of goofing around. When did you... Okay, if you were goofing around all the time, when did you take things seriously? University. What happened there? Yeah, I don't know. People sometimes like have a transformation midway through their life. I was watching a interview with Troy Aikman, the football Cowboys quarterback. Won a bunch of Super Bowls and stuff, and like he was a big fucking goofball until like one day he went and partied out. He did like some frat hazing initiation, and then he came to like practice in college, and then his coach was like, just gave him a look like, why the fuck are you here? And then from that moment on, he took shit extra serious. And then held everybody to a high standard from there on out. So people generally have like some sort of transformation moment. I thought to myself, school is school, and now it's a real deal. But then I got upset because university is basically worse than the learning program myself. What do you mean university is basically worse? Like they don't teach you as much? It's just better to start doing things. Yeah. Okay. So you went to school and you were like, I'm going to take shit seriously, and that's that. Okay. And you work really hard, and now you're in this position, and you're like stuck. It's like you've got a truck, and you're like just going down the road, and then you hit some mud, and you just run through it. And then you keep going, and now you're in a bunch of mud that you can't quite get out of. I can't do less because it's my problem. Yeah, I mean, because it's your problem, you can adjust what you do, right? I would be like, okay, so who do you feel like you're letting down? Yourself? Right, I get that. When I get sick, for example, I will say I'll work less, but then you keep working because you feel guilty. Yeah, so who are you letting down? Me, the company, and managers, my team. Is your personal image of yourself as the work superhero who fixes everything? Do you see yourself like that? And like, if you don't do it, nobody will? Yep. People actually tell you that? Wait, people actually tell you you're like the VIP of the team? I mean, probably like nobody else is working that hard, so it's very likely. Yep. So it's not necessarily to find a new job, is it? So if you were to reduce your workload, it would reduce your... Okay, so if you reduce your workload, you're afraid that your team might not view you as such a great person. Well, I don't know. I see it as yes. Okay. And you're addicted to it. You're like legitimately addicted to the cycle of working and being productive, getting, everybody loves you, and then you work, be productive, everybody loves you, etc. It's just kind of a cycle. And you don't know how to get out of it. It's like a dopamine addictive type loop. Yep. Okay, stuck in a dopamine loop. So one way to think about it is that by being too much of an absolute unit on your team is actually bad for the team and in a way selfish because you're creating a bottleneck. Yep. Now, I don't know the whole situation, but this sounds like some sort of anxiety keeping you from making any big changes to your day, mindset, and your work habit. Yeah. Okay, so you're stuck in a loop, you don't like it, but you don't know another way to live. How many hours do you think you should work? How many hours do you think you should work in to be productive and also stay alive, right? Because working 18 hours a day, you're going to die early. I don't think hours. I think tasks that I need to get done usually today, but I would say like maybe 12 to 14. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So set a hard limit of 12 to 14 hours a day. For like a week. Yeah, do that. Try it out for a week. Try the limit for a week. And then if it works better for you, continue it. If not, then go back. If it works, great. If not, try another, plan out another technique, another strategy for time management, and try it out. Yeah. Yeah, 14 hours a day is cutting back. He's 18 hours a day. I'm sure the only drug he uses is like caffeine, maybe. Chinese tea? Alright. Ginseng oolong or like matcha or yeah. I have no idea. I don't remember all of the different teas. I used to hang out at a Chinese tea shop and I remember some of it, but okay. So does this work, Hainan? What if you feel guilty still? To address the guilt. To address the guilt. Tell yourself it is a strategy to keep yourself alive longer. Also, if you want, map out expected productivity gains from getting better sleep, right? Or map out expected productivity gains from getting, well, obviously, like with this hard limit of 12 to 4 hours, and track your productivity every day. Yeah. Yeah, because you're the superhero at work. That's your identity. Okay, I know this, Hainan, because like I know humans like to wrap their identity into just one thing. And then once you've made something your identity, you will do anything to keep it up. Like, say you're in a marriage, you're a guy, you're in a marriage, you're in a bad marriage, like she's cheating on you and the kids hate you and stuff. But if you view yourself, your identity as like a husband and a father, then you're still going to try and make it work. Right? Or if you view yourself, and I know this from like gacha games, if you view yourself as a top gacha game player, like if you're playing one of these Farmville style games and you have a big kingdom and like you've got lots of friends in the game and they're all spending money, you also feel the need to spend money because it's wrapped up in your identity. So right now your identity is working overtime, so you're perceived as the superhero of your work team, but it's just not going to work long term. So what you can do is cut down on the hours, but you can maintain the identity by telling yourself, look, I'm cutting down the hours so that I can stay productive for a longer period of time, measured in years or decades, right? Also, I might just be ranting, but guilt is very proportional to deliverables. And to be really honest, is 18 hours every day good for... That's what I'm saying, right? He's putting in 18 hours of like sleepless work, which is probably very difficult to be like super productive. I might try the idea. Try it out, and you only have to try it for a week. And if it doesn't work, come back and we'll do this again. I do this every week. Usually on Saturday, but today it's a Sunday. Yeah, but you don't need to leave your job, right? I thought it was like a toxic workplace, and it might be a toxic workplace, but the fundamental issue is that you're driving yourself into the ground, and that's fixable. Yeah, 12 to 14 is insane, but relative to what is, yeah, okay. No, I'm glad the job even allowed me to close the project. None of this is their fault. It's toxic. It's me who made it for myself. Correct. All right, Hayden. So yeah, just do that. Try like a reduced schedule for a week, and also track your productivity. If it works, great. If not, try other time management strategies. Different work style for like a week. Yeah, you gotta. The whole key is to like try something, experiment, because if something's not working, just experiment and find your way out of it. Yeah, I think you'll do fine. Hayden, best of luck, dude. Take care. If you want this as a markdown, DM me on Discord.